Hello and welcome to Apex Instant Tips, episode number 203, brought to you most Fridays at 12:05 Eastern Time. We're your hosts, I'm Anton.
And I'm Marwa. Hi, Anton. How
Hi,
are you?
Marwa. I think we're really live this time. Mark's here to make sure that we go live, unlike the last bit of a fiasco. Um, so we don't have to do this tip twice in a row, which means that we've had no practice and everybody will have to just suffer through the no practice tip. But today we have a tip that I think people are going to like, and then we have an Apex gripe. So Marwa, you'll do the tip, I'll do the gripe.
Okay,
And
thank you.
and I understand that gripe isn't a super common common word for non-English speakers. So when I mentioned this to Marwa, she asked if a gripe was a small fruit, maybe that you make wine with, for example. But it's not that. So for our non-English native speakers, a gripe is a complaint, a small complaint, and a petty complaint, a complaint that maybe I shouldn't make, but I'm going to make a complaint anyway about Apex. But for folks that actually want the tip, Marwa, why don't you jump right in? Tell us what we have.
Thank you. So, I choose this application from the gallery. It is the sample charts application. It has different pages, different type of charts. And I was playing around with charts and I noticed that somehow the display was not that good and I needed to fix the height to make the regions with the same height to make things look better, but it was tricky for me to fix the height like with pixels or other attributes or use custom CSS. And then usually we can do that with the Flex um, CSS classes from the universal theme. There is a whole section on this application universal theme under layout modifiers that you can use. So you can add those CSS classes to the main region and to the sub-regions along with different um, attribute to make the look that you want. But in
Yeah,
it,
that's what I've always had to do is sort of come up with all these extra things that I have to look up every time I do it because I never just remember these classes.
exactly. And you're going to have to add these classes to the regions that you want to align or to customize and to the parent region also in a certain way. It's a bit tricky. But in Apex 26, we have a new feature which is the Flexbox container. So let me show you first how it looks like using Flexbox containers. So now it's better, it's aligned in a different way, and the height is adjusted automatically. And even here, I added an interactive report, and I wanted to test what if I add more rows to display here. I will go back to this attribute because I've unchecked it. So let's see, take a look at this page here. We haven't kicked off our timer, I think, Anton.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to kick off the timer. So I'll do that now, but go ahead. And the reason that Marwa unchecked it, you'll see in a little bit why she unchecked it. Go ahead and check it back, Marwa. I've got the timer going.
Thank
I set it for
you.
5 minutes, but we'll stop a little before 5 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, so now this is the rows per page selector, and let's see. Now I want to display more data. So for example, 10 rows, let's choose more. I want to show you how the region will, will adjust to more rows for both regions
Oh,
stay.
right. And normally the other region would have stayed short and it would have this weird look to it.
Exactly. So this is the Flexbox container. It's a type of region. It's under theme components. Remember, if you want to have this theme component, you need to refresh your universal theme. It's not sufficient only to do the upgrade and be on Oracle Apex 26.
Okay.
After refreshing your universal theme, you will have Flexbox container as a type of this. And I just added my regions there. For example, these two charts. Um, you will see that the only slot available is region body. You don't have the columns and the column span usually we use to customize the
Right,
alignment.
and you don't even have like sub-regions and parent regions. They just sit right in the body. So you don't even have to set a parent region. You just put it right in the body, right? Interesting. Okay.
Exactly, right in the body. And the main settings are in the attributes section of the Flexbox container itself. So you choose the direction, you choose, for example, here added a little gap, a small gap between the regions, and I wanted the item sizing to fill the space, but you have plenty of other options. And I've used also this type of container to add these buttons here. And I added those buttons right under the chart. Let me look for it.
So you added a Flexbox region inside a standard region that's inside a Flexbox region.
Exactly. So this
Excellent.
is the two charts,
Excellent.
one next to the other. And inside this chart itself, I added sub-region with the buttons. And I wanted them to be to fill the space and to be in the center, and direction is a row, but you can uh, uh, choose
Oh,
other options. You have plenty of options which are great.
this is excellent. And as you expand and collapse the screen, they take on that size. Much easier than what I've had to do in the past.
Yes, really much easier.
Okay. Okay. You have about a minute left to really truly get in the time frame. So you're well there. Anything you don't like about the Flexbox container?
Yes, I think there is something that I don't like. In the Flexbox container, there is even the first setting, which is the source. Here it's none, but you can choose simple data. That's the first thing that I did when I was testing this type of component. I
Right.
chose
You can get data. It looks like you can get data into this Flexbox.
right, and I did this. I chose tasks. There were columns, and I saved and I ran the page. I wanted to see what's going to happen. Play around with the Flexbox container, but nothing actually happened, and you can even get some errors. So this attribute does not work actually, even if you try to change it, tweak it, add your own query with row num equal one or fetch only one row, it won't work. At least
Because
for me, it did
it's
not
a
work.
template component plugin, and template component plugins allow you to do partial or report or region only. And this one is region only, but region only has no source. So it doesn't even make sense. They shouldn't show that for this.
But yes, the weird thing is you have all the columns here, and you can even go custom personalize those columns, customize them, but still, it does not work.
Right. The worst thing about it too is it actually runs the query in the background,
It
but
runs the query.
it doesn't do anything with it.
It runs the query, but
Okay. Well, I think the Flexbox container itself is a great tip. I think we've ventured into the gripe zone about it, but that's not actually our apex gripe. So here we have the Flexbox container. I think it's a great tip. We're over time at this point, but I think it's something that is a little bit of a new feature, but it definitely will make people's lives easier for doing it. And I think the idea of using the Flexbox container inside a different region as a sub-region, all these different things opens up so many possibilities that I hadn't considered until I saw you do that.
yes.
Okay. All right. So now the reason that Marwa had flipped off the rows per page was because I was talking to her about my gripe. So I'll share my screen. This is if you just came in for the tip, you can leave now, but if you want to hear my gripe, you can stick around. So here's my gripe. I'll share my screen, and Mark and I fought over that. So here we go. So here's my gripe. So here we have a report. It's got 834 total rows, and there are so many settings about rows. If I come out here and I edit this and I start looking under attributes, I've got maximum rows to display, maximum rows to process. Down here somewhere I have rows per page, this thing on or off. Down farther I have a show rows somewhere. I can't even find it. And then way down here, buried under advanced, is maximum rows per page in selector. Just to make our lives a little bit easier, I'm going to type rows in here. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the one that I usually actually want to do, to be honest with you, because if I don't want people to be able to bring back 10,000 rows. First of all, this all isn't actually 10,000. If we take it and we inspect that all is actually isn't all, it's 10,000. Just really quickly, we'll take a look and we can see it's right here, 10,000, not all. But even so, when people bring back 10,000 rows, they're just going to bog down their browser. It doesn't make sense. But often I want them to be able to paginate through 50 rows at a time or 100 rows at a time, something like that. So I want to reduce this to 50. My initial thought is that I would put it here. But no, it's here that I want this. I want to say 50 here. If I do that, I get what I want. So there we go. Now I don't get the all anymore. So then I'm going to remove that and say, well, what the heck do these other things mean? What's maximum rows to display, maximum rows to process? Well, maximum rows to display, if I do this, it's the maximum that it will allow total. So you can see 1 to 50 of more than 50, right? So I don't get the 834 anymore. And I can't paginate beyond 50. Even if I go down to 20, it won't let me go beyond 50. So I get stuck at 50, even though it says all here. This is part of the gripe. Why are they giving me all when now it says 1 to 50 of more than 50, but it's not all. So clearly that's okay. So what's the difference between this one and you can see the other one disappeared. When I take this out and I go here, now I have maximum rows to process. What if I put 50 here? Well, they look like they're the same. The help, is my opinion, is woefully inadequate. Again, this is a gripe, right? Things work. Maybe I shouldn't be complaining, but I am. I have the show. I can complain. So here we go. This 50, it looks like it's doing the exact same thing. Here is the difference. If I put the 50 here, and I run the page and I do a chart, I get my results. And you can see it's got much more than 50 rows that have been processed. 214, 213, 207. This is way more than 50 rows that it's looked at, right? Whereas if I move the 50 from here and put it here and then run it, now I get an error when I run that chart. That it won't process that chart.
Right.
So I don't even know how to succinctly give my gripe, but my gripe is, first of all, I don't know why this one disappears when the other one shows up, because then I don't even know it's there. I don't like that this is buried at the bottom. I don't think the help in any of this is.
And even if you turn the switch off, the last setting will disappear. I think for me it disappeared.
Yeah. Oh, but it does. Okay, if you turn them both off, well, okay, then I guess that makes sense. That one I'm a little bit okay with. If you turn them both off, that disappears. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, all these reasons, I just think that they need to do a better job of the rows per page, understanding what they do, explaining what they do. Really, I think this one is really about the chart. Oh, I'm going to one more piece of gripe about this though, right? This says if the maximum number of rows to be processed exceeds the limit, then an error message will display. Okay, well, guess what? That's not always true. It's true if I have a chart, right? I get my error message, great. But if I come over here, it only does 50 rows, right? But look at this. No, that's way more than 50 rows. I can see all these emp no's, right? Even though it says it's only going to process 50, well, it's processing all of them. Well, maybe I want it to, maybe I don't want it to, but it's not consistent. It's my gripe. There it is. Okay.
I totally understand, but fortunately there's this tip from you. It's a gripe, but it's sort of a tip at the same time.
Okay. Well, here we go. That is our Apex Instant Tips for the week. If you like the show, like the show. Let's see. Oh, I see a future idea. How to initialize. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah, we could do a tip on that. That's definitely something that we can look into doing. All right, we'll take that under advisement. And why don't we upgrade to 1080p? Mark, that's a question for you. You can answer it. So, our producer is in charge of our StreamYard account, and I just passed that on to Mark, and we'll see if we get an answer from him. Next time, he'll think about setting that up on the screen. Okay, yeah, shoestring budget. That's why. That's the answer, because we have no budget. Okay. Well, as I was starting to say, Marwa, what are they supposed to do?
Subscribe to the channel, send a letter to your mom, tell her about the show.
Yep, all those
See you.
things. Thanks, everyone.